Yeah, and if it and you, I can have this argument with people all day. Well, you're getting a free education, you're getting a free room and board. What's free? I'm working for it.
Yeah. What's going on, everybody? Sorry for the delay here today. We've had a couple technical difficulties. Here with Dennis, episode 32 of Putting You in Your Place, The Art of Dreaming with Dennis Haley. Dennis, thanks for being here, man.
No, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So we had been talking about a couple things off air, a couple strategy things with your book. I want to do some sort of thing where we spread the word for you. So what I'm thinking is if everybody will go over to YouTube, I'm gonna run this until Friday or until I spend $500.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So how many ever people that will go to YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share from YouTube to Twitter, and tag the Playbook, or that might be hard to navigate. Let's just do the hashtag The Art of Dreaming.
Yeah, I like that. Let's do that.
Okay, hashtag The Art of Dreaming on Twitter. Share it from YouTube to Twitter. We'll monitor that hashtag until Friday. We'll anybody that shares it, we're going to send you a free copy of this book.
Yep.
And all we'll need is your address. So we'll message you for your address. So go to YouTube, subscribe to our channel, share from YouTube to Twitter, hashtag The Art of Dreaming, and we'll send you a free copy.
Let's do it.
Sound good?
Go to YouTube, share it, hashtag The Art of Dreaming.
Yep.
I like it.
Cool.
Yeah.
And we'll both monitor that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm going to buy up to either Friday, end of the day, Friday, 5 p.m.
Okay.
Up to $500.
All right.
Okay.
With it.
So let's just keep on book right now. We'll go to other topics. I am very interested in the execution of how you did this. So tell me about that before we get into the details of the book. Just tell me how you went about executing this thing. This is awesome. Like, you being able to put this together and put it out to the world. It's kind of like, I felt like it's kind of like your testimony to this point.
It is.
So tell me about getting all this together, finding a way to actually put the pages together and get it ready for shipping.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long process for me. I'll go all the way back to 2018. I had a mentor and a friend, Reggie Grubbs from the New River Valley area, who had just written a children's book, and really, really great book. Reggie, great person. Reggie had put it out, a lot of success, and we connected one day, and I was telling him, man, I really like your book. I really like the story behind it. And he was just like, yo, D, you need to go ahead and put your book out. And, he had me thinking, and we conversated over the next several months just about the process. He introduced me to my publisher, Kelly Cole, who runs Publishing Advantage Group out of Bristol, Tennessee. Kelly Cole, he's one of the few majority Black-owned publishing companies in the country. So it was really cool to just connect with him, and then from there we just conversated, we connected. The next step was just putting pen to paper, giving my story, writing my story out, giving my story on video. I had an editor, I had a writer who was with me, and we navigated all the way through the process together. And the process took a couple years for me, just to really go through, get my story, get it correct. And then also my team, I call them my team. That's my home front. My wife, Kimberly Haley, who is from the area, and then my sister-in-law, Doris Bishop, and then Courtney Stewart, also part of our team. And we came together, and we reinvented, revised, re-edited. My mother, who is, I call her an English major, but she really just kind of knows writing and knows education, and had her read over it hundreds of times. And it was just a process of making sure I wanted to put out the right content and make sure that people were getting something from it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to see your story, or, like, read your story and see the clips. And and kind of relive that with you, kind of like you're walking right beside you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very interesting in that regard. So, you know, as far as the deal goes, like with your publisher, like how does that work? How does like working with a publisher, like how does that financially work?
Yeah, so my publisher, you know, you go in. It can be one or two ways. It can be an investment on your part. You're investing in yourself and you're investing in your work, and you believe your work is going to sell and you're going to reap the benefits from your investment. From that, you own all the rights to your book. You own all the rights to every word in there. You own distribution rights, so you are not tied to that publishing company if you want to publish it yourself or you want to go somewhere else and publish it. Or you can be in a publishing company and they own a percentage of it. I own all the rights to my book. I own the copyrights. I own the words. So if I want to put it, let's just say I want to put this book to script and somehow a movie comes out, I own 100% of the rights to my story,
right?
Which is what you want. And sometimes, now a lot of times that's not how it goes. The publishing companies will own the rights to these stories, but I'm fortunate enough that I own the rights to my work, my story, and it's, you know, that's how I want it.
How does the revenue share go? Like, like when you want reruns of this, like you run out, like you've sold out, how do you get more inventory of your product?
Yeah, so right now my product is on Amazon. You can go to Amazon right now and purchase it. Through Amazon, I'm selling my books, and Amazon's infamous, so I won't run out.
Sure. So they will run run this and send it. But like if you wanted a box full of
if I want a box full of let's say I want to say, hey, I need 1,000 copies next week. I put an order in for whatever I want them for, and then they ship them to me. And it's a, you know, a fraction of the cost of what they produce to what I get it for.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's very fascinating to me as a business guy.
Yeah.
Like trying to figure out the what's the word? That, and like just like the distribution method, you know, and like how
to get the most out of your investment and not have to. Yeah, you don't want you don't want to invest more than you have to, because you want to get the return. You want to get most of the return.
Yeah,
yeah, and that's how it works, because in the long run, you want to have your own. I would like to be able to produce it myself and not have to share any revenue with anybody.
Yeah.
Amazon or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very fascinating.
For sure.
Well, you know, some things that was really fascinating to me. I'd like to just get into maybe more detail of like what happened to you in certain situations.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable,
I'm listening to it.
Okay.
That's why I wrote it.
Right. So take me through the scandal.
The scandal.
Yeah. Where you were getting off the bus at Florida State.
I can remember like it was yesterday.
Just tell me everything.
Yeah.
Tell me what you were going through in the moment, and then, you know, the end result when it was all over. Like, did anything happen to the teacher? Like, just give me your take on this.
I'll give you, and if you're listening, you're lucky, because I won't tell a lot of people this. They got to go buy the book so they can read it. But the scandal, man. What a day. And like I said, I can remember like it was yesterday. We're down at Florida State. I'm starting outside linebacker. Just my second start. I started the first game against Colorado State. Good game. We're in Tallahassee. I mean, as a college, and this is like my first time playing at UVA. So you're in Florida State, and who doesn't want to be at Florida State playing?
Yeah.
So my mind is just, I'm hyped. I'm ready. I can't wait to play.
It's like you've arrived.
I've arrived. This is it. This is my chance. I'm on the biggest stage in college football. At that point, it's like there's nothing better to show your ability than against the best in the country.
Right.
So as I'm walking off the bus, I literally look over, and there's my head coach, Al Groh, athletic director, assistant athletic director, and somebody else, another coach or compliance officer, and they grab me. Literally say, hey, can you come over here and talk to us? And at that moment, in my head, I'm thinking something's wrong, because my family drove down from Virginia. My dad, my brother, my uncle, grandpa, had driven down, and, first instance of something's wrong. You just get that thought that something has happened. And they get me and they bring me to the side. And I'm like, I'm already prepared for the worst. Like, even at that young of age, I know I was thinking, like, shit, this is crazy.
Yeah.
They're getting ready to tell me something bad.
Right.
So just be ready. And they say, you can't play in the game. And I'm confused, and I'm saying, why? What happened? Well, there's a situation going on back in Charlottesville with one of your classes that you're taking. The professor has come forward to the administration and has let us know that he has given you a grade that you weren't supposed to have. And, you're like, I just close my eyes and I'm like, this is not happening to me right here, right now. Literally an hour before the game's getting ready to start, we just get off the bus to get ready to go in the locker room to warm up.
Yeah.
And they're telling me, you can't play because this teacher has come forward to the administration to say that he has given you a grade that, and at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm like, whew, relieved, nothing wrong with my family.
Right.
But then a split second later, I'm in disarray and disbelief because can't believe that this is really happening to me right now. And so they tell me this, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, what happened? What grade? What are you talking about? Just kind of going through my head of what happened and what did I do? What didn't I do? Did I do anything? I can't remember because it's all just coming at me like bullets just love it. I'm like, okay, what's going on? So they tell me that and I take it. So then I go in the stands. I have to walk out the tunnel, back in my street clothes, go get my dad, my brother, and uncle out of the stands. So they see my team warming up, but then they see me walking in the stands. So you can imagine their thought process. Like, what's going on? So I get them and I tell them, hey, they've deemed me ineligible to play because this teacher has given me a grade, and the teacher came forward and said he gave me a grade, blah, blah, blah. So my dad and my brother and my uncle, they walked down. My uncle, actually, grandfather, stayed in the stands. But my dad and brother walked down and met with the administration at that time. And, yeah, it was absolute chaos on everybody's part because we were not happy.
Man.
As a family, my father was not happy. And I just keep it like that. My father was not happy. My brother was not happy.
It seems like crazy that, it would wait until the moment you're getting off the bus to break this news. Like, how does that, I mean, why did they even let you get on the bus?
Right. And the thing about it, just so everybody knows, I can put it kind of in the context is, yes, this professor gave me a grade that I didn't ask for. Yeah. I didn't ask him. I was in the class. I didn't ask him for a better grade, but he gave me a grade and then came back and went to the president, went to administration and said that he gave me a grade because he felt sorry for me because I was a black athlete and he wanted to help me.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned that wasn't the first time he did that.
Correct.
And probably not the last.
Correct. Well, it wasn't the first time.
Right.
I know, wasn't the first time. And it definitely wasn't the last because after everything we went through, the NCAA came in. We had hearings. We had court hearings.
So you were on trial.
I was on trial. My brother was an attorney. He represented me. My dad, my mom, we were on trial trying to get my eligibility back because that grade dropped. Like, it was just like a 0. It was like an incomplete. So can you imagine an incomplete on a 3.0 GPA or even a 2.5 G? It takes you below, it drops completely. So that's like having a 0. So it took me below the eligibility line to be able to play.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was ineligible the rest of the season.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a tough climb back, man. I mean, it's a testament to your drive and ambition and character.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't have just been like, okay, well, I guess I just go home now.
Right.
A lot of people would.
For sure.
A lot of people would have.
For sure. I thought about it, but luckily and blessed at the time, my now wife, girlfriend, Kim, we were living together, and between her, my mom, my dad, my support team, they wouldn't let it happen. They were just like, no, we're going to fight it. And I was fortunate. Al Groh, my head coach at the time, was like my biggest supporter, and he got in some heated arguments. I put a quote out the other day that he made, was just basically, in short, it was like, I can remember getting into a lot of heated arguments about you in that situation at UVA, and he was just like, I'm proud of the way that you stuck it, because he went to bat for me, because it wasn't, can you think, like, I look back, nothing about that situation was right.
Yeah. Nothing.
So it was just one of those situations that we've kind of fell into and had to deal with. And yeah, it's crazy. The scandal.
It's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
I mean, for you to go through that and be a champion of that situation and be able to tell your story on that, I think that's huge.
Yeah.
That's like anybody can take that as like the most adversity almost you could possibly imagine.
Right.
Because you're fighting for your life at this point. Like they're trying to take your life away. The dream that you had, they were ready to rip it away.
Yeah, it was that was it. That was the turning point. It was either the dream was going to be over, or I was going to fight to the nail to get to where I wanted to go. And I mean, if you can imagine a 19, 20-year-old kid in every news article in the paper, Haley's ineligible. So it was, you had to deal with all of that. Plus you had to deal with the hearing. Plus, luckily, somehow I got to stay in school. Somehow I got to still practice with the team. I just couldn't play in the games. So a lot of things ended up coming together to keep me centered. Because had I been kicked out of school and had I not been able to play football, who knows what would have happened with the story. So fortunate that I had a coaching staff that went to bat for me to keep some of those things in place during that time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's great. Let's fast forward to the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
All right. So you make the squad, you make the opening day squad, and then all of a sudden you just get ripped. You just get cut, right?
Yep.
Tell us about that story. I felt in the book you omitted maybe some of the details there on that. I'd love to know, like, the story behind how that happened.
Yeah.
Because it looked like you were going to be a part of the squad, like everything was going well. Like, what happened? And then it was just over with them.
Yeah, it was that quick, and I didn't omit anything. It was literally that quick. Going back, 2 years previously, I had been with the Ravens, been on the practice squad, and had played in games. And from my situation,
you were in good standing, right?
Yeah, great.
They never said, "Okay, Dennis, you got to put up."
Right, 10, 15 tackles a game, or you're going to let you go? No. The year before, we had just went to the playoffs. I played in my first, AFC divisional playoff game. We played against Indianapolis Colts that year against Peyton Manning, and I'm talking about it, but we lost like 12-9, no touchdowns, all field goals, both teams, which is crazy when you talk about Peyton Manning. So we had just played. So coming into that season, that was the first time I wanted to make the opening day 53-man roster. Undrafted free agent, got to play the year before a lot on special teams and defense. So I wanted to come in and kind of make a name for myself. And during that training camp, had the best training camp ever. Went through, made the opening day roster, like literally made it. And then 2 games in, I can't remember the first game is, but the second game in, we played the New York Jets, which was a fun game because that was a team that had originally picked me up coming out of college. So it was the same staff. Mike Tannenbaum was a GM, and it was some other coaches and players on the team that I had played with. So that was a fun game to go play. Went out there, had a great game, came back with 2 or 3 special teams tackles because I was starting on all the special teams. And then that jury Tuesday, day off, I get that phone call, and it's, "Hey, can you come up to the office and talk to me?" and it was a GM, Ozzie Newsome, who was a real cool, real good GM. Actually became a friend of mine that I still talk to this day. Throughout all that, animosity that I had over the situation. But yeah, it was just one day after that game, just got the call, was like, hey, I need you to come up to the office and talk. And the explanation, I don't know what the explanation was. I can't remember even probably a word he said, because I knew when I went up there what it was for. You just know when you're going to that office. And they brought in a veteran linebacker from Jacksonville Jaguars, and I can't remember his name, like about 3 weeks later, and it just kind of stuck with me, and that was it, and never got back, never went back to the Ravens after that.
Yep.
All right, we're dealing with some technical difficulties here. We were in the middle of the Baltimore Ravens story, wrapping that up. Again, here with Dennis Haley. So, Dennis, let's try to finish that thought there.
Yeah.
You got the call, what, game 2, game 3?
Game 2, yep, game 2.
No rhyme or reason? Like, there wasn't any there's just that's just a business decision that it was like it's time for Haley to go?
Yes.
What?
Right.
It boggles my mind.
It boggled mine too at the time, and it boggles mine still today. It's just, it was a business decision is what was explained, and we need another position.
But then they go hire the same position 2 months later.
Yeah, about several weeks later, and I see another linebacker come in, veteran, granted, but still, I was better than him at the time. But, coming in, it had a sore, it was like a nail in the side of my leg, just like, ugh.
Would you guys start from the beginning, just like, what was it that happened? Like, you got cut from the team, correct?
Yeah, we're talking about his we were talking about the scandal at UVA. We fast forwarded to kind of the end of the line, almost in the NFL, like as far as an active player, because you went to the Niners and played on the preseason squad,
preseason.
right?
Yep.
So like the field time was over after the Ravens, pretty much, as far as like the NFL goes.
It was. The Ravens, the regular season was over. I set out that whole 2007 season. I went on a bunch of workouts to different teams. It just never panned out with the position. We're looking for something different. But then the 49 did get signed to the 49ers that summer, which was awesome, that to have an opportunity to go out there and played in the preseason, played all 4 preseason games, played well, enjoyed myself, and it never panned out in San Francisco.
Right. Well, I am super grateful that you decided to bring your family back to the New River Valley.
Sure.
We can't lose people like you. I mean, you might go off in your venture and try to make that NFL dream happen, but and we've had conversations, about you having ambition to go to Atlanta and move out of the area and take your family elsewhere because there's opportunities, greater opportunities elsewhere. But it's so encouraging that you're trying to make it work here. Mm-hmm. This is where your family's from. This is where you grew up. We cannot afford to lose people like you. So just know I am super proud that y'all have decided to stay here. I hope that's still not a conversation. I hope you're going to raise these girls here in the New River Valley. They have an opportunity to bring the New River Valley to the light, because we are in the dark. We are in the dark, man. Like you were one of the people that you and a couple other people, JJ Redick, Troy Daniels, like all these guys, mainly Roanoke Valley guys, but we can still claim them.
For sure,
we can still claim them. So, people like you bringing this area to light, raising your family here, for them to be able to do the same things. I just want to commend you for that. I know it's been a struggle. I know you've had ambitions to get out of here, like we always have, almost everybody has at some point,
for sure.
But I hope we can keep you.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it, and it is. It's growing up in Roanoke, Salem, New River Valley now has been awesome, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. My parents are here. My wife's parents are here. We have family that's here. So for our girls to have the opportunity to be within literally minutes of both sets of grandparents and a great-grandparent, it's just a blessing. And, we all have different thoughts and ambitions of moving and working in other places. And I've actually been fortunate and blessed to have opportunities to stay in the area.
That UVA paper is pretty good, right?
Hey, the UVA paper is excellent. So, hey, why? Even though I am in Hokie country.
So like, I do want to talk to you about that. Like, how do you feel about young talent sticking around here? I mean, you went to UVA. Like, I know you've got bias to UVA, but if Tech's a good fit, like a local kid going to Tech, don't you think that's a great opportunity? I mean, are you still encouraging? The North Carolinas, the Georgias, the Floridas, that type of school, because I know you're influencing a lot of young people. Yeah. Like you're someone to turn to. Like, are you telling people that Virginia Tech would be a good opportunity for you in these if it's a good fit? Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I hate it when top tier talent leaves the state. And I'm not even just talking about this area. I'm talking about the entire state. There's 2 schools in the state that if you're a 5-star, 4-star, don't consider anywhere else. Like,
yeah.
and if we can't get you, then it's a problem with our coaching staff. And I'll say it to them. And I know it doesn't always work like that.
Yeah.
Kids do other things, parents have influence, other people have, but for Virginia Tech or UVA to not get the best talent in our own state just doesn't set well with me, and it never will.
Yeah.
And I understand recruiting. But yeah, if I have a kid that wants to go elsewhere and is thinking about it, I just say, why? Why do you want to, what's your reason? And if it's a good reason and it's a good decision and the school's just not a good fit, okay.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
They don't have the position that I want to play available for me, and I'm going to have to go elsewhere to find a fit. Yep. Like, that would be the reason.
That is the reason, yeah.
But if it's a fit, I think the economic impact for a local kid to go into the local school and make it out of that school into a bigger platform like the NFL just will transform – just transform their life, because as your stars rising, you may have to leave home. You may go to San Francisco, but when the stars falling again, when you're coming back down to earth, and you need your community support, everybody's going to know who you are, and then they would not have forgotten you.
Right.
When you leave the area you're from, it gives you opportunity to leave your roots and plant new ones.
Yeah, it does. And that's for me. I said this the other day when I was out and I was at an event in Roanoke. It's called Rebound in Roanoke, and I was doing some book signing and talking to some kids, and I said, man, I love my city, but my city loved me first.
Yeah.
And that's my community. I love my community, but my community loved me first, and that's what you're talking about. Like, I never forgot where I came from. I always came back. I did camps in Roanoke. I did camps in Salem.
You were on Christiansburg staff, right?
Yeah, I coached up here in Christiansburg. I've done training up here with kids, and I try to influence kids, and I think that's what it's about, is really being a part of your community. And it's a brand. It's your name. It's your brand.
Yeah. And
it's really understanding your brand and your name and how you can influence your community. You can influence the next generation and just be an inspiration. And that's part of that's what this book is about, and why I wrote it, because I wrote it because it's my story. It's helping. I want to help the next person, next generation coming up, learn from my wins and learn from my losses. Learn what I did, learn what mistakes I made, and also for my children to have just kind of my legacy written for them to always have. I think is something special to have.
No doubt. I want to send a message to your girls to let them know how lucky they are. They got superior genetics. That's number one, but they also have real world experience in trying to achieve big goals. So, like, they need to take Dad's advice. They need to listen. They need to listen to him, and they need to know that he can guide them in the way that they need to carry themselves and the way that they need to perform. I know you're pushing them. I know you're training them. They need to take Dad's got to wear a couple hats every now and then. There's the trainer, and then there's Dad.
For sure.
So, like, they need to realize, they need to understand that kind of thing too.
Yeah,
so like, my message to your girls, it's just amazing watching your family grow. I've enjoyed that. We're not side by side every day, but the great thing about Facebook is that we can kind of connect that way, and kind of keep observing each other and keeping tabs on each other and keep cheering for each other.
Definitely.
So.
No, thank you. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
Cool. All right, so we're gonna kind of get wide on some topics here. We got the Super Bowl coming up. Mm-hmm. So what do you think? Do you think Brady versus Mahomes? What do you think?
It's a tough one. I want Brady to win it. It'd be cool, but I'm going with Mahomes and the Chiefs. They are just too much firepower for I think Tampa Bay.
Do you think this is the Jordan to LeBron passing of the guard type thing?
For sure, definitely. Because if Mahomes wins his second straight Super Bowl, he'll be 2-time MVP. Yeah, this is passing the torch.
Yeah,
definitely. And I mean, funny enough, who would have ever thought Patrick Mahomes would have been the next guy coming out? Because he sat out that whole year and then he came in and it was just he's been on fire ever since he touched the field.
Dude, I love Tom Brady.
Yeah,
I'm not afraid or ashamed of it.
Too.
42 years old.
Man, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. I just love it when he's on the sideline and he gives it to one of his offensive linemen for not blocking. Because I'm like, that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. But I love him. Yeah.
He's another example of like, age limits you. Mm-hmm. Not if you work hard enough. Right. Not if you're doing the right things to your body and treating your body this certain way and making these right sacrifices in your life.
Right. I mean, just to think about, he left New England, went to Tampa Bay, who have not won a playoff game in I don't know how many years. Yeah. And now they're in the Super Bowl. And it's not like he brought a whole bunch of different players with him. I mean, he got Gronk out of retirement, but
an AB, right?
Yeah, an AB who's I mean, he does good, but that team. So it just goes to show that if you're a leader, that you can lead people to do better,
and people will
follow.
Yeah,
exactly. And they'll work, and their work ethic will change because they see your work ethic.
It's funny because everybody wanted to put the greatness on Belichick, right? And there's a TikTok going on around right now where Tom Brady's on the phone saying, "Hey, coach, I'm going to the Super Bowl," and Belichick's on the other line, and he's like throwing the phone. He's like throwing the phone at the bench. I mean, funny. It is hilarious. It's hilarious. Oh man, TikTok, man. I gotta every episode I'm bringing up TikTok.
Okay.
It's just a hilarious, like, entertaining platform.
Yeah.
That gets you like tons of reach. You said something about getting started there, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's I mean, my kid, who's not on TikTok? So my kids are on TikTok, and I've got a couple, just looking, and I'm like, okay, what's TikTok? I do Facebook, I do Instagram, I do Twitter, and I use it to my advantage for my brand and for my book and everything. And I'm like, okay, how can we use TikTok? And it's interesting because it's quick. And it's a reach, and it's an interesting way to try to reach a different audience than you could any other way.
I think Twitter and these social media platforms have been used to discover talent. Mm-hmm. As far as your daughters go, if they had that viral TikTok moment on the gym floor,
right?
If they were doing their gymnastics and one of them hit just this like crazy balance beam or something,
right,
they would be on top of them.
Yep.
So like using these social media platforms is so crucial. It's like the LeVar Ball strategy.
Yeah.
Like attention.
Yep.
And talent, you develop talent around the attention. If you'll get a shot if you got the attention.
Right.
If you got 100,000 people following you in some little niche thing, you might get opportunity you might not have gotten.
Right.
Because the talent levels may be the same, but you got the more of attention for people to tune in.
It is, and that's true. And it's funny because it's come up in different conversations I've had with people is, okay, these young athletes now, high school, college, some of them don't have a social media platform. Could you imagine if they did have a social media platform and what revenue would generate, what would generate from something like that? So yeah, I've definitely been thinking about that specific kind of formula to creating content and creating just an opportunity for someone to see an athlete.
So how do you feel about the college athlete wanting to build a brand like that and getting opportunities to make money, and the NCAA ripping it away from them, saying that they would not be eligible if they started making money in that way? How do you feel about that?
I mean, I don't think it's right.
Yeah.
It's not because
just think about what you could have accomplished if you had the social media platforms of these and you were able to start earning money at UVA.
For sure. I mean, hey, yeah, you're right. Could you imagine? And I think the scary thing about it is I think the NCAA is scared they're going to take revenue away from them. And I don't know how, because I saw the statistic just really the other day, and if I'm saying it wrong, it was a 5-star athlete is worth like, I don't know, several million, probably like 5 million to a university.
Yeah.
5-star athlete. Just based off of him coming to that school.
Right.
So,
and they want to give him free room and board and a $70,000 a year education. And it doesn't seem fair.
Yeah, I can have this argument with people all day. Well, you're getting a free education, you're getting a free room and board. What's free? I'm working for it.
Yeah.
I'm putting my body through something. I'm doing the work. Is it
you're putting
free?
You've got a mental challenge and you've got the physical challenge. Yep. You're doing double duty.
Right. So nothing's free. I mean, that it is. And I was blessed to have a free scholarship given to me, but I worked for that scholarship.
I would honestly say that, you grinding out those grades in high school to get there, getting in there, the state of Virginia allocates so many of these scholarships to people that meet these requirements that show athletic aptitude. You earned it. Yeah, you earned that.
And that's what I say. I earned it. I worked for it. It wasn't free, because free means you didn't do anything for it. No, athletes work for that. So to go back to your question, yeah, athletes should be able to generate revenue for their brand, because that brand's going to transition to them when they get out of college.
Yeah,
it's if they go to the NFL, they go to the NBA, or even if they go and be a lawyer or be a doctor or be whatever, well, that's still their brand. Yep. And they still can generate.
If Pepsi wants to come and lay out $1 million brand deal and the NCAA says that's in a violation, I would say NCAA can kick it.
Yeah.
And
I think that's what's scaring them, is because that's what's going to happen. Because if I got a 5-star kid that I know right now that I can put on a social media platform tomorrow and can, within 2 weeks, can have him over 1 million followers based off just his talent. Yeah. It's nothing special. I'm just going to put his talent out there, and you're going to see the crazy stuff he's doing. Somebody's going to come calling with advertisement deals because they want their business on his social media platform.
Yeah.
And I think there is it's there. It's there for the taking. Nobody is doing it yet, but it's there.
I say we start the New River Valley Ballers, and you're the rock character, and I'm the funny white guy character. Like that's I mean, to have your knowledge and know that that's coming, and know that we need to guide talent into good deals, and know that they're being not taken advantage of, and I just think it's inevitable that that's going to have to happen with the day and age that we're in with social media. When kids get 1 million followers through, the things that they're doing on TikTok and Twitter and things like that, it's robbery.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they're getting robbed of financial gain for the work that they put in to achieve that type of following.
Yeah. And then it's who's guiding them, and who's out there guiding them, and who's helping.
Who knows what's a fair deal?
Right.
Who knows what's a fair deal?
Right.
So like, somebody can come offer you $5 for something worth $500. You got to have somebody that, like, $5 might have been the most you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Now you might want to take $5, but when someone knows that it's worth $500, you got to have somebody in your corner to tell you those type of things. Yeah. So another business opportunity we might be able to look into. Going back into the NFL, tell me about the agent-player relationship. Tell me what you experienced in that. The people that were supposed to be fighting for you. Tell me about that relationship. Tell me about how you felt about the agency relationship in the business of the NFL.
Yeah, it's first. It's great because I knew my agent, had a personal connection, like a personal connection with my agent, and a family member who kind of introduced me to my agent, and we had a great relationship early on, and then things happen, and it's business on both ends, because I'm the brand, I'm the business, I'm the player. He's the agent. He wants to represent me. He wants to get me out. And if something happens, that's that's what he does, is try to get you on another team, or what she does now, because there are female agents in the league now.
Yeah.
But I look at it and kind of laugh, because I had my first agent. We had a falling out based off of me not playing, based off of me not getting picked up as quick as I thought I should get picked up.
So you thought you needed stronger, harder.
I needed stronger, harder relationships, somebody who could get me in the door, get me in front of somebody else. So that's how I ended up switching to a different agent.
Yeah.
And that was when I got released from Baltimore, that I switched to a different agent. And it's funny, because I didn't switch to an agent who I didn't know. You get kind of courted when you're in college.
Yeah.
And so I had agents that I knew and that I had developed relationships with early on, who, when I parted ways with my first agent that I picked, I knew an agent that I knew was trustworthy and knew I wanted to go with, and he stuck with me through that, got me into San Francisco, and then after San Francisco, then got me into the CFL. So yeah, it's a good relationship. I mean, but it's, you talk to your agent when you need to talk to your agent. If things are going well, your agent's making business deals for you, marketing deals, getting you stuff. But if things are going bad, you and your agent, it's work. Your agent's working for you. So you want somebody that's going to work and push and has good relationships.
Do you like, when you write a book like this, do you take an agent out to like shop this around? Do you take what PR are you getting, or like what are you, like, what's out there for people that like are authors trying to get, like speaking deals?
Yeah.
Like speaking, you want to go and get speaking fees.
Yes.
And how does that work?
So that's
same people?
Yeah, no, different agencies, different people.
Gotcha.
That's the next step for me now, is that I've created this outline of my story, this book, and in the book, I wanted to make sure that it was teachable, and that it had points in it. It had correlations to life and life lessons, and that's how I developed the 5 pillars to achieving your dreams, because I wanted it to be somewhat of a curriculum that I could speak to and that I could teach to boys, girls, men, women, companies. I could go in and I could teach that to it. So that's the platform. That's what I want to develop this next step into, and how I came with the book, and kind of outline the layout with the book. But yeah, it's different agencies. There are speaking agents out there that you look for and you hope to find. But it's the same as being an athlete. You gotta hone in your craft. You've got to be good at it for somebody to want you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you'll get in the door here locally, no problem. Like, anybody wants a little, Dennis Haley experience, motivation, that type thing. They should be. I would encourage, like, whatever. Like, I don't even know what you could put on it. Like, do you put like, $500? Like how much do you get to charge?
Right. What's the charge? I don't know, but I can tell you, you go to a website, a speaker website, and see how much some of these speakers are.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's just interesting, the different layers and the different abilities that you get, because you might have somebody that you want to come in and speak to your company about motivation and about leadership and about developing teamwork and how to develop that process. And then you might want someone to come in and speak about how to achieve your dreams and kind of the process what I mapped out in my book. So yeah, it's just different layers to it.
Gotcha. So do you think this is going to be it for you, or do you have ambitions to keep going? Like, do they say, the artist ships, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, like, you need a catalog. You need a Dennis Haley library, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Taking your experience as a dad, taking your experience, just as a man of color. I think in this world right now, your perspective, I would encourage you to just keep going.
For sure. No,
is that the plan?
It is. It is. It's somebody asked what's next, and I told them, I said, my kids are next. But for my kids to be next, I need to be able to supply and support them with motivation, with energy, with my stuff. And then I think, I feel like that this is an avenue for me to be able to do that, to show my kids and to be able to tell them and to be able to provide for them different avenues of, how to keep pushing, how to keep dreaming. It's never over. Keep working, keep striving for whatever you want. We can do it.
Yeah. I mean, I think everything that you're doing today is laying the foundation for them to do the same things at a much, much higher level, because you're going to work out all the mistakes.
For sure.
That's
the plan. Yeah. Don't make the same mistakes we made. And for kids, it's hard. It's hard for them to listen, but that we keep preaching. I never get tired of telling them what's right, even though kids don't listen sometimes. Can't get tired.
It's like they almost have to experience it for themselves, even though we're trying to do the best thing we can to but at the end of the day, remember, your mom would have put you in the correctional facility,
right?
And my mom would have put me on BT. I would be the bus driver right now,
right?
If we didn't go through the trials that we went through,
for sure.
So,
yeah.
All right, hey, let's Sky, I want you to bring up. I want to reiterate again. We're offering a free copy of Dennis's book. If you go to our YouTube channel, Sky, will you bring up the YouTube channel, and then go through the share process. To my people that have already subscribed to the channel, the 184 people, just put in a comment on the channel that you've already subscribed before you share to Twitter. And then remember to hashtag the art of dreaming. All right, so go to the videos, Sky, if you would. Let's just go to the one that's live right now, and then hit the share button when that comes up. And I appreciate the 5 people that are watching right now. We love you. Thank you. You got the share button right here. You're going to hit that share button, and you're going to go to Twitter. You're going to hit the Twitter icon. Or you can copy link, whatever, and then go ahead and log in there. And then we're going to go ahead and hashtag the art of dreaming. And then you do that, we're going to send you a free copy up to, I said $500. I'm going to spend $500, or we're going to run this until the end of the day on Friday, whatever comes first.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right. And anybody that just wants to go purchase that from Amazon, let's bring up that Amazon link so people can see it. Perfect.
Yep.
You can get the Kindle version. You need to get the Audible. You need to go ahead and record this thing.
It's in production.
Yeah.
It's in production.
Right on. Well, Dennis, any last words? We'll go ahead and wrap here, man. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you being a part of this. Your family's near and dear. You need anything, man, let me know. We talked about a couple of things off air. I'm going to leave them off air unless you want to talk about them.
It's up to you. We could talk about it.
All right. So Dennis, it's interesting here. Dennis said before we got on air that he may be interested in a run for political office. I think that's a wise move. We could use that perspective in the New River Valley, like wherever you want to be, Montgomery County, Christiansburg Town Council. We need that. I think we need to get support around that. People, if you think Dennis would do well in public life, hit the like button here.
Hit the like button. Let me know.
Is that? Are you serious around that? Like,
I don't know.
Possibly.
I don't know. It's something that I've thought about, because you look at today's times and you look at what we're going through as a society, from the equality of making sure that someone who looks like me is treated fairly, has the same opportunities, can be on the same playing field. And then you look at where we are with the pandemic and making sure everybody's doing the right thing, making sure that we all are on the same page and we all have the same same foresight on what our future is. So I've always said that I want to give back to my community, and I want to be a part of my community. I want to be able to show my kids that, we can say everything and anything at home, but if you're not in your community and you're not doing anything about it, then you really don't have a fight. You don't have a dog in the fight. So to just be able to say, I'm part of the community, I'm making a difference. I've always doing that. So what comes from that, I don't know what will come from that.
I think I've got a huge passion for what's going on here locally. I think you would be a breath of fresh air as far as diversity goes. We lack diversity in leadership roles in this community. So if we could, get to know more about where you stand on things and how to navigate the petition process to get you on the ballot and everything like that. I would say let's go make some millions and then come back and then serve.
Right.
But that's my thing is
right.
If I can amass, I can't in this climate go and take the scrutiny of what everything, the divided nature of everything is hard. And, I see the political climate with the people that are trying to affect change and how angry and how divisive things are and how they're attacked as far as like online. I'd hate that. I'd hate that to come to your family. That type thing.
And that's the struggle, because now it's different, and you can say it's just different, and it's never a nice conversation. We can why can't we sit down and have a good conversation about where we stand, where we are, and if we don't agree. Who agrees on everything? Nobody agrees on everything, but it's hard today to have that conversation and to be able to go and be in the spotlight because you know what's coming to you and your family. That's the bad part.
The easy part is saying this is where we are and this is where we want to go. The hard part is how to navigate to getting from A to Z.
Yeah.
And so I'm always the freedom proponent. I'm always the, let's not have a ruling class. Let's have a serving, public service class of people that want to take what the majority of the people want and make it a reality.
Yep.
So I would love to keep nurturing that conversation
for sure,
and figure out how to do that because I do want this platform to come to be something of local attention of like real issues and having people on that are going to help guide those issues and make those issues the way that we live. So I think that's the future of like where we're going in this show, having people on like you, having tough conversations, having thoughtful conversations, telling them about stories that you've experienced to help them, guide their life type thing and inspire them
to understand.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
You said that you battled COVID. Let's talk about that. I want to know what that experience was like. Tell me about that.
Yeah. That experience was tough. You're going, I caught it somehow. Don't know how.
You're a mask. You wear the mask. You
wear the mask.
So
wear the mask at work.
Yeah. So you're in favor of the mask. You're not saying the masks don't work. Like you live the life like when you're in public and you can't socially distance, you got the mask on.
You have to. And for me, I got sick. Had 2-week stint in the hospital, and it was not good. I was blessed that I didn't have to get incubated and didn't have to be on a ventilator, but I was on a breathing machine. I was in CCU for 8 or 9 days. I was in ICU for several days, and it took a long while for me to get back to normal. You just don't know what this disease is going to do to you. You, myself, whoever, could be 10 of us, and it's going to hit all 10 of us probably different. And that's the scary part about where we are with this disease is you don't know. And that's why you should take precautions. And that's why everybody should do their part to keep it at bay.
When you first started getting symptoms, how long did it take for you to be like, oh my gosh, like I need to go to the hospital? Like, how long did you wait it out? Because, I know, strong-minded guy like you're probably like, I don't need the doctor. I don't need the hospital. I don't need to, like, how long did you wait until you're like, man, like, it's bad enough. Like, I'm concerned.
Yeah, it was, for me, I started having symptoms on a Saturday, and by that Monday, I felt like I had played in a football game, and I was dehydrated, and I was just needing replenishment. And at that point, I told my wife, I said, I'm going to the ER to get some bags of IVs. I'm gonna get some IVs. Just like I felt like I was just depleted and needed that energy. Went into the hospital, and needless to say, when I went and got checked in and got evaluated, they were just saying, no, you need more than IVs. You're depleted. Your magnesium, your sodium, your potassium, everything is.
Did you go to Montgomery or Radford?
I went to Radford, Carilion.
Gotcha.
Yep. And went there, and it was snap of a finger. I felt that way going in. By that evening, I took a turn for the worse.
Wow. So you had like lung congestion and
couldn't breathe, pneumonia, developed pneumonia within my lungs, had.
So you just felt like you had like a brick on your chest or something.
Yeah, just no breathing. Oxygen levels were down, which hurts. You just can't manage. You can't breathe. So it took a while, and man, the staff at New River Valley Carilion was incredible, and they're part of my team. I work for Carilion now, but they were incredible. The respiratory therapists, the nurses, the doctors.
Do you know what they treated you with? Do you know the medicines that they treated you with?
Yeah. So
what did they give you to treat it?
Yeah. So for me was interesting. If we have time for this quick story, it was interesting because going in, I had this and they didn't know why, and I was really going downhill fast.
Yeah.
But my wife, who was at home, who I couldn't really call, who was with my 3 girls, so you can imagine the stress level on her, and the demand was. I couldn't imagine. So I'm just grateful I was the one in the hospital and it wasn't another person in my family. But I got asked, do I want to do some of the trial drug treatments that were there? And at that time, it was remdesivir, and it was plasma treatments for the plasma treatments for COVID.
Yeah.
And at that time, I'd been in the hospital for a while, and I was going mentally. I wasn't there, and I was like, no, I'm not doing it. No, I don't want to do a trial. Why? What can you tell me about it? And wasn't, I was not perceptive to it, but my wife had reached out I have a family member who knows doctors from around, doctors from around the East Coast, around the country, of color, who are Black males and Black women who have dealt with and have seen it. So she seeked second opinions and seeked advice, and they told me, no, take it. Make sure he takes it. So I got 2 rounds of plasma treatments, and I got the remdesivir. Nice. So I got both, and then I think one of them, the remdesivir, is maybe a 5-day period for where that works, and then the plasma treatment, or maybe it's a plasma treatment that's 5 days. I can't remember which one it is, but man, when I took those treatments and I took those that medicine, it helped, and immediately you could just see things starting to take a turn for the better.
Nice. Very
quickly. So I was fortunate that I had advice and had family members that I could reach out to and help with that situation. And man, it's just, I'm fortunate that I can tell my story and tell this, because you don't hear it all the time, and there's questions, and everybody has questions. So I'm just fortunate that I can share this with people.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're one of the few people I know that are, under 40 that have had, it go that bad.
Yeah.
So like you're, that's pretty scary. That's, so, I mean, it obviously is real, it's obviously something we got to take seriously. I think people need to do that research. They need to dive into like what is going to happen if and when. Probably you need to predict when you get it, not if you get it, at this point.
Yeah.
So, so I've had my plan. I've done research on a drug called ivermectin. You know, and I've been talking about that on social media and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of things that you can do to combat and like understand and educate yourself on, like, when you get this thing, this is my plan. I'm going to stay home. I got everything set up.
Right.
Like, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Like, I made big investments in like my home setup to just like, if I was, going to get sick, if I was going to get it, these are the people I was going to call. These are the things I'm going to get. And this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. And it's funny to say that, but it's important because you don't want to get anybody else sick.
Yeah.
So say you get it and you have symptoms. Well, you're going to quarantine yourself, but what if you have to bring somebody in to help you get quarantined? Who are you bringing in and how are you going to do that? Because you don't want to risk getting somebody else sick and then get them sick and then get somebody else sick. And and my family, we have had a rough time with it. I've had family members that have passed because they've gotten COVID and died from it. Yeah. And it's real. And I was blessed to not to be here to tell this story.
Cool, man. Well, again, we appreciate your time. The Art of Dreaming. Remember, I'm giving away some free ones. If you share this from YouTube to Twitter, tag The Art of Dreaming. We're gonna send you a free copy. We'll message you for your address and we'll get you a free copy. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity to share. And
we're gonna come. We're gonna get you come back. We'll
we'll
get you a regular spot here. And anything we can do, anything we can do to help in any way, man, just let us know.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you, man.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.